Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with My Spiritual Friend. Welcome back. It's Sunday, October 25th. No, 6th, 20. Yeah. Yeah, no, 25th. Sorry. uh, it's been one of those weeks. It's Sunday, 8:30 p.m. I am here every night Eastern time. I am here every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time-ish. A few minutes later tonight. I hope everybody is well. Oh, okay. Yeah. Queenie, I got you. I've got you on the list. We've got a few people ahead of you. I just emailed to KK, running a little bit late tonight. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. I also do private readings, which you can find at my website, www.myspiritualfriend.com. The link is in the description here. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not usually, Twitter, I'm all over the place on that one. But so Dan McClaskey, whose YouTube page is Spiritually OTC, did a giveaway for myself and another reader. I don't remember her name. I apologize. On one of his videos, and he drew the winner. And so I just have to go over and watch it and figure out who the winner is for mine. He emailed me. I just was right before this. Spiritual Seeker, did you make a donation? So yeah, so there was a winner there. So I sent it out in my email. I had a little bit of a difficulty with my emails tonight. Or today. I usually send out an email. I ended up doing it through my MailChimp. I was doing it through Gmail, and then Gmail was like angry at me today and like kicking everything back. Who knows? Maybe it's Mercury retrograde, which I really don't give much attention to because it happens so often in the year that, whatever. So let's get started. Queenie, was I right about your, she said, donated, thanks so much, love, so much love. You gave me the answer to my son's court hearing. Was I right about it? Hi, Patricia. Hi, Allie. To donate, KK, can you throw the link in to donate? It's in the description if you can get to it, but she can put it in the comments here. Patricia wants to know what kind of business would I be most successful starting? And can you just give me your first name? Is that okay? Oh, wait, it is Patricia. God dang it. Sorry. I was reading Spiritual Seeker. I'm sorry. Sometimes scatter happens. Okay. Can you just tell me, have you been having a little bit of, I feel like sinus pressure and headaches, but it doesn't feel like migrainey headache. It feels like just like a sinus pressure type feeling, tension headaches. Does that resonate? Yeah. Okay. So the thing that they keep showing me, and I don't know that this is necessarily business, but because they're kind of saying like it's like feeling like I'm not passionate about anything. And really, I have to be honest with you, anybody that I've ever seen be really successful and have a business that really takes off, it's something that they like resonate with, right? So not just like, oh, I could do that. Like, or like, like the people that are like okay at stuff, like they do okay at their business, but there's like this woman I know, she asked me one time, she's like, I really like this LuLaRoe. I mean, if you don't know what LuLaRoe is, whatever, but it's like pretty whatever. I mean, a lot of people know it. And I really like this stuff. And It wasn't really well known on the East Coast. This was, God, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and, we were waiting for our daughters, we were in a dance class together, and I was like it just, like, lit up around her, just so bright, and I was like, "You this is, like, go for it, like, 100% go for it," and she is one of their top salespeople now. So it feels like I just don't have this passion. I keep getting shown fall leaves, I keep getting shown, like, a gardening center, but I don't feel like I'm gardening and planting. I feel like I'm taking things and somehow, like, making cute little decor for the house that's a little bit more rustic and earthy, and it feels like doing that, like, maybe starting out at, like, little fairs, craft fairs, kinda getting my feet wet, seeing what people like, and if they really like my stuff. I don't even so much feel like I'm in an Etsy shop because I feel like I'm getting lost in the sea of Etsy. Etsy is let's be honest. Um, but it feels like starting out there and sort of like getting my footprint out the door at like farmers markets, but it just feels something more rustic the way I'm seeing it. I don't know if this resonates at all, but thank you, spiritual seeker. Okay. So that's what I see being for you, but I don't see it taking off like huge right away because I feel like you're so reticent and hesitant. Like you're not sure of yourself as a salesperson. You're not sure of your own comfort level and your own confidence, right? Of yourself. You like that's something to work on. It feels like once it starts going and bumping along, I feel better about it and I do more. And then maybe I end up having like a little store where I have like that kind of I don't wanna say like an emporium or boutique but like something like that where it's like a boutique style gift shop kind of thing, and I keep smelling like cinnamon candles and things like that. There was a place like this on the corner of Bering and Woodway in Houston. I don't know if it's still there because I haven't been back to Houston in so long. But it was like this little go-to area gift shop, and, like, they also did, like, personalized things for kids and stuff like that. It feels like something like that because it feels quaint and a little bit, like, darker and warmer, and I keep getting these, like, warm colors and, like, darker red and tones like that. But that's what I feel for you is kind of what I'm being drawn to. You wanna retire. So, it could be something like that where you're doing that as a way to like supplement income and things, but I see it like actually having a storefront at a point, maybe 5, 6, 7 years down the line, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. And maybe just like 1 or 2 people working for you, nothing crazy. Okay. Miss Devry, I hope you had a lovely birthday. Allie is on the list. Yes. Yes. ALI is actually ALY. Sorry, that was my typo. Sorry, KK. Devry, are you here? Are you here? There you are. Let's see. Things didn't work out for the security guard job. I can't see you doing security. I gotta be honest with you. So do I need or will I need to get a second job soon? One that's fitting for right now to the other one. Like one that complements the other one hours wise, I'm guessing. I just want to make sure I'm reading this correctly with your question. I got some new plants. I found some new, this is my little fiddle fig. I don't remember the name of this, but I think it's reaching up to get sun. Maybe they close up at night. I don't know. I haven't known some of these very well. Yes. Okay. So you want something that complements the hours. This is one of your jobs. So this is the way I feel like the hours go. So tell me if this is right. Where I feel like one is like 7 to 3, and then maybe I get one that's like 4 hours in the afternoon. And I feel like it actually may be like a retail kind of job or in a retail setting. But I also feel like one of them is at a desk, but not security. It feels more like doing, are you, like, versed in medical coding or something like that? Because I could see it being like, we didn't call them desk clerk in the hospital or in one of the units in the hospital. Hang on, Char, I'll have to check. Dispatch. Okay. So it feels like something like that, like doing something like that, and then doing like something just that to pick up for an extra 4 hours. But then I feel like that falls away because my other job, my more full-time job, has more overtime hours for me, and I won't necessarily need that. Like it feels very, I keep it for very short term, and then they're kind of like, hey, can you work overtime? And it works out for you better financially and logistically. I do feel like you might get a little burnt out just working so many hours, but that it's like more like you just for the extra money. Am I chopping up a little bit? I just saw like a jerk in my screen, like it, not me, the jerk, haha, but like it did like a weird. Nope. Okay, that was weird. So weird. It literally looked like like a time skip. Ooh, ooh. It's the week of Halloween. I actually, it was funny, like everybody gets so hyped up about Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. And I actually felt like I got this like interesting message that it really, now that the veil is so thin, it doesn't really matter the time of year anymore. That Halloween used to be um, big. Uh, Char, I do not. Hang on, it's reloading. Yep, Charlotte. Okay, so I have to add Virginia after Allie and Char. Okie dokie. Okay, so now we've got Mallory, Isha, and Starry Sky are up. I'm really stuck right now. Oh. Oh. So what they're kind of telling me is that it's not really actually being stuck. It's actually finally allowing yourself to grieve in the room to grieve, because you sort of held it all together while you were going through all of the filing of the uh, lawsuit and all of that. And it was sort of like it gave you something to focus on and to like not really have to like deal with the grief quite as much. It's not that you didn't grieve before, but it's like this like second wave of grieving is sort of happening. And it's sort of like just they're saying just be really gentle with yourself and be very compassionate with yourself, and understand that it isn't that you're kind of taking a step back. It's really that you're just fully immersing through the process that you didn't before. And then on top of it, you're grieving your dog. So it's like you've just had a lot of loss, and it's sort of, you don't have that thing to like sort of distract you and take you away from it anymore. You said it gets easier. Give yourself time. It feels like I really kind of come out of this funk. And I know this sounds terrible because it sounds like a long time from now, but in 2 to 3 months, I feel like I'm sort of roll out of it. So like by the beginning of the year, also know you're incredibly empathic, Mallory. So it's like the energy right now is really kind of like up and down. Like I woke up this morning, I was like, why do I feel like crying? Like what is going on? And it was just sort of like this collective, like, ugh. Um, there's a lot of that right now, a lot of like up and down too. Although I'm feeling a little bit more sparky hope, but it still feels like just there's this undertone of heaviness and worry about what's going to happen after the election. So you're sort of like swirling in all of this. So really like the message is not so much go out and do this or you should be doing this. It's sort of like just really take care of yourself. kind of like nest a little bit. Take that time to grieve and honor it, and don't judge yourself for it or have this idea of where you think you should be or how you should be. Just sort of like feel those emotions and allow them to move through you. If you're not doing therapy, I highly, highly recommend either finding a grief therapist there that specializes in it, or finding like an online support group for grief. I just think connecting with somebody else on it that would understand it, where you don't feel like you're burdening them, would be really beneficial. Hmm. Have you felt like Tony's been like not around a lot lately? Because it was weird. I just felt like this almost void of him. The opposite, you felt him around. Maybe that's why I don't feel him, because you're feeling him all around. I will say this. This isn't. Oh, that's lovely. Um, for me, and this is a totally different situation, and I haven't lost somebody with that, closeness or whatever, but being psychic, it's really actually hard for me to go through the grieving process when they're always around. I sort of ask them to step back a bit and give me some space so I can do the human part of the grieving, because it it just makes it's a very difficult thing to feel them around, but not be able to, like when my one grandmother passed, I just adored. I couldn't call her ever, and so it was just really hard to have that, like, where I could feel her around, but not like have the physical connection. I do feel like the holidays are going to be really hard for you this year, though. I got to be honest. I feel like I don't know if this is the second go round, but it feels like it's going to be really feel a little bit harder. And I do see you spending time with, I'm going to call them your children. So there. I do see you spending time there. I have room for you. So I'm going to leave you with that. Okay, Mallory, hang in there. Mallory, do you have like a really like tight knot here? Because I just keep feeling this really bad, and it was not doing this before. My traps were tight the other night, but this is like, it's so tight and uncomfortable. Ugh, jeez. Yeah, go get a massage and take that with you. Like, good Lord. I literally felt like he was like squeezing here. Ugh. If you don't get a massage, if you ever work out, if you have one of those Theraguns, I have one. They're amazing. They're like the best thing in the world. Now I feel like I'm gonna have to use one in order to get through this. Mallory, take this back. Oh my God. Okay. That's probably just more validation for you. Good God. Where's my sage? Sorry, friend. I don't want this anymore. Okay. Isha, you're up next. In my last year of biology degree, I'm contemplating doing a second degree for 2 years and then applying for med school or a master's. Still trying to research experience. I actually feel like even if you haven't started the process yet, I feel like you'll do master's and then med school. You're like the lifer. You're like one of those doctors who has a law degree and medical degree and a PhD and a business administration, master in business administration and hospital administration. Like, you're going to be the lifer. I got to be honest with you. But I feel like I don't feel like I'm gonna do another degree in 2 years. I feel like it ends up being like a master's, like it sort of rolls into it. You may even stay where you're at to complete it. And then I don't know if it'll be a PhD or if it'll be a medical degree. I feel like it'll be a master's, not just a 2-year additional second degree. And also work on getting rid of your like imposter feeling. Like you're really smart, you're very capable, you're very talented. And it's like almost like I'm pushing it off a little bit because I'm afraid. It's almost like being afraid, not for afraid of failure, but almost afraid of success. But I feel like not doing the 2-year thing. I feel like I'm going to master's first and then med school. It's almost like, I don't know if you can do this, but like med school, that'd be insane, med school and PhD together, but you're gonna do something where there's like a dual offshoot somehow. I actually think you might go to a US med school. And I think it'll make more sense as you get closer to that. So Starry Sky, Dan, and then I think Queenie, and Queenie is Maria. Sorry, Maria, I didn't put that in there the right way. And then Tracy. You're second to last right now. Hello. No, it won't. So they're showing me, I don't know if this is where it is, but they're showing me like, so there's like, I don't know if there's an S curve or what, but it's like right before the bend in the pipe, or I guess it like, so it's like right before the bend in the pipe. I think the joint is off, like it's not sealed right or whatever. Like it feels like, I don't know plumbing, but this is where they're showing me. So it's like there's like a, I don't know if it's called a coupler or what it is, but it's like where a male and female part fit together, and there's like a whatever, it's like leaking, and then it's like right before the bend in this. And I actually feel like the bend might have to be replaced too. So it feels like I have old cast iron plumbing or something like that, where it's like it's just sort of eroding over time. And I don't know if you have really hard water, because it's that feeling of having really hard water and a lot of buildup and residue on the inside of the pipe. And then does that make sense? But it feels like I replace this and then I'm good to go. So it may be like a couple times of having a plumber come out and be like, all right, we got to like take the drywall out to get to it or whatever, like, or access it through drywall and like have to do a patch on the wall and like paint. But I don't feel like this is like a forever thing, but I do feel like it's a little bit bigger than maybe we're hoping or intending. Good evening, Am. We are doing well. Does that make sense when I say that? Like the, I don't know if you know where it's like, but it feels like this buildup in the pipe or whatever is like what's causing like a impasse. Is it a P-trap? I mean, I don't know what, like, okay. Yeah, but it shouldn't last long. But it feels like I keep getting the number 5. So I don't know if it's like 5 trips out where we finally like get what's wrong, or it takes like a back and forth of 5 times to get it fixed, like whatever it is, but it doesn't feel like years and years and years. I'm going to replace, there's a bathroom right on the other side of this wall. I need to replace the insides of that toilet because they've been noisy forever and I've been avoiding it because I'm always afraid I'm going to tighten it too tight and then crack the bowl. And I did that on the upstairs one and I didn't tighten it enough and it was leaking. It was like such a pain and they took us. So now I'm avoiding, I ordered the stuff. I have to like do this now. Gotta do it 2 times. Okay. So it might be 5 times that but it's not going to be forever. So don't worry. It's just like, it feels like they're not quite getting the right thing. I don't know how to explain it. It's like not having the right supply, or then it's like, what's just not quite the right fit. Oh, Jesus, this still hurts. But it'll get fixed. And I don't feel like this even going into next year. So what you're going to do to manifest this, you're going to go, Anna, oh my God, like you're going to visualize in your head, like typing, Anna, oh my God, you were totally right. It was fixed at this time, right? That's an easy way. Then you don't have to, it's new construction. So you worry. Is it metal though? It's not, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry. I think that's just also like the whole, I mean, even when you move into new or old construction, there's always something that maybe they didn't do quite right. Or even when you get a new car, that happens, right? It's up to you. So the homeowner insurance can be good and using it and it can be not good. So like, I know when I bought this house, I looked into claims made and there was like a claim attempted to be made and they didn't end up claiming it, or the home insurance wouldn't, whatever, but it like also let me know that there was like a big issue. And I was like, look, just be open about it. I'm not necessarily going to not buy the house, but I want to know what I'm walking into. So it could also be, if it's new construction, you can go back to the contractor and make the contractor fix it at his cost. So I wouldn't even necessarily get the insurance involved. I would go to the contractor first. That's my suggestion, because most of that should be covered under a warranty for work or something like that. Okie dokie. So I have Tammy, hang on. Did you pay for a reading? Starry Sky, you asked for a second one. You've been working with a contractor. Okay. So it just might take like a couple times to get it just right, but it's not, I don't think you're going to have to go through, insurance or anything like that. I mean, cause if they really don't get it, you can always file a claim with like the licensing people of wherever you're at, because he has to be fully licensed in order to do what he's doing. So sorry, Sky, did you have one more question? Cause you paid for 2. I'm just going to check and see if Tammy paid for a reading. I don't know why my watch is not picking this stuff up. Oh, Tammy paid for 1. Thank you, Tammy. Okay. So I've got Dan, you wanted a general reading, I think. And then Starry Sky, if you have another question, when will the United States stop being so polarized? So I genuinely think it's going to take till about 2028 for things to be like not so bananas here. But here's the other thing is, cause it's sort of like cleaning house, right? So things will calm down and quit being so crazy. So I'm seeing several years. So this means it's happening in stages and stuff. So there's a significant thing that happens, like sort of like a big change in 2023, 2026, and 2028. But I feel like things are really starting to calm down by the end of next year and not be so, like, think about when Trump first came into office and those of us that did not vote for Trump, were like shattered. and it literally just felt shell-shocked energy for, like, the first year or so. I mean, every day it's been, like, whatever, but it was, like, this weird moving through goo type energy where it was just like, like, "What?" Um, here, hang on. Tamiflu. Um, Allie, I'll have to check that, okay? Um, yeah, it was definitely a grieving period. So it just felt like so it feels like the people on the other side, because I really do feel Trump is gonna be out. The people on the other side of that are gonna go through their own chaotic, like, it doesn't even feel like grieving, it feels like going batshit crazy, period. Especially because I do feel like it's gonna be a huge Democratic win. Um, but it feels like I really do feel like it's gonna start to calm down and things are gonna start to shift and they'll start to see, there are people who really, really don't like change. And it's really hard for them to deal with that. And it just feels like it sort of takes a while for them to sort of like go, okay, well, this isn't as bad and scary as we were told it was gonna be because um I mean, like they're screaming like, "We don't want socialism," but like Trump is getting free government health care, and it's government health care paid for by the government and really big, um, being taken care of by government doctors and nurses and aides and everybody else. So it's very interesting, really. But it'll take some time, but it'll calm down. It's not gonna be like I feel like this and just after the election are gonna be the pinnacle of, like, the crazy, batshit crazy stuff you're saying, and then it starts to calm down, like, middle of next year, maybe a little sooner than that, in March, April, May-ish. It takes a little bit to get there. Um, there are gonna be huge reforms coming down the line as far as, I do feel like I said this before, I do feel like we're gonna end up doing some form of reparations, for people. Um, and things are gonna be shifting down the line. So I do actually see by 2028 2 women in the White House. So that's all I'm gonna say there. I don't know. Who knows if I'm very good with political readings. It's just feelings. Also, like the whole Pope thing, saying that he now welcomed gay marriage, and then there's all these people who are like, "Oh my God." First of all, I know here in New Jersey, I think they said like four different churches are filing for bankruptcy or shutting down because of all of the lawsuits that have occurred from all of the years of um, hiding the pedophilia and abuse. So they're like kind of broke, and their congregation has dropped significantly because a lot of people aren't really following the Catholic religion or organized religion quite as much. Um, that their congregation levels have dropped. So I sort of think, and maybe I'm a cynic, I keep getting like there's a money thing there. So it's like if we say it's okay, then maybe more people will start coming back to the church is sort of my feeling. And maybe that's again very cynical of me. And I apologize if you're Catholic and devout, but I guess you wouldn't really be here if you're super devout, right? So that's my thoughts. Dan, I think you said you wanted a general reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. My numbers did go down significantly when I decided to stop doing free readings. But on the other hand, as of this date, we have been able to donate enough to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey to provide for this is probably going to be a scary number, but around 660 meals. So that's pretty amazing because it's 3 meals per dollar. So and I'm only giving 30% of my little $5. So we've really done some wonderful work and helped out some people that are in need. Um, Okay, so Dan, general reading. Isha, let me get through some and then I'll let you know, okay? So they're showing, they're like, it's that feeling of being stuck at like a gate, you know, they're like, and they're out of the gate, but I feel like you're like stuck behind the gate, right? Like, so when they talk about like dog racing or horse racing or whatever, so it feels like I'm stuck and I'm ready and I'm excited, I'm ready and I'm right there, but it's like the gate's not quite open. So it's sort of like, first of all, know that you're doing really, really, really well with your channel. Those are great numbers already. I encourage everybody to go check out Dan's channel because he's got some cool stuff in there, right? So he's like, one of the videos was I'm doing a salt float, which I've done before, and it's like it's pretty cool. Dan doesn't have hair, so it's different when he gets out of the water. But when you get out of the water and you have a lot of hair, it's like your head feels really heavy, and it's like feels like you're. It's the weirdest, coolest thing. So it's definitely something worth trying. He does like a lot of he's really cool. So it's like he's got a good energy and a good vibe, and he's like got a very happy, uplifting energy about him. So it's like if nothing else, just watch it for that, right? But he shares a lot of cool stuff too, so it's really cool. So I feel like you're doing really, really well, and you're going to grow, and you're going to keep growing. And I do feel you hitting fairly soon, like 1,000 and then 1,500. Don't get discouraged if you feel like it's not happening as fast as you want. It's sort of like you need to hit the algorithms, to fit the to like it feels like just needing to change some of my title to hit keywords that are going to pick me up more in the YouTube algorithm. So it's more about like gaming the system kind of thing than it is about not having the content that people want and are drawn to and the energy that people are drawn to. The other part of that is I feel like you had mentioned this about like doing, it's like you want to do one video a week and it's actually hard. You said that on your thing, batching your videos. So making more than one video at a time, so then you can put them out. So on the weeks that you're a little bit busier, you've got one already lined up. It's important to do like keyword research. I don't really do this, but I feel like especially with the way you're doing videos, it's like keyword research. I know I'm not saying get your kids involved, but I feel like your kids are really excited about you doing this. And I feel like your wife is kind of more in the background, like, "Oh, whatever, like whatever this is." Like she's like sort of off in her. It's not that she's not supportive, she's just not like understanding it, maybe. I don't know if any of this makes any sense. Okay. So you can look at, I'm sure there's a million videos on keyword research. In Do you have a son? It's like looks like your little mini you is what I keep seeing, like a mini you, like being really excited about this. Then is one of your kids a mini you? Because I keep seeing literally a mini you. Okay, so it's the mini you is the one that's like really excited about. I actually feel like the mini you actually has the abilities that you have too. I actually feel like the two of you were actually siblings in a past life. Because there's this very unique and special bond between the two of you that's like transcends this relationship in this life. I also feel like you'll help the communication that difficulty that she'll have with her mom at a later point. I feel like there's like a space missing with the ability to communicate with each other, and you'll help with that. I also feel like you're gonna teach her about manifesting, specifically her. I don't know why, but like she just gets it like this. Like, so I can tell you with my middle daughter, I sort of talk to her about manifesting and like she sort of gets the idea of it. And my oldest is like, whatever, mom. Like she doesn't want any, like my middle one, I can talk about like meditating and we do a white light visualization to help her go to sleep at night. And I'm like, no, if you expect that it's going to be a bad experience, then it's going to be one. Like you have to like go on with the expectation that it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Um, so it feels like with this child in particular, you'll be able to sort of teach that manifesting, and this kid is going to be like, just take off with it. So I will leave you with that. Check Spiritually Out of the Closet. Check that channel out. It's a really great channel. And again, Dan's got really good energy, so it'll definitely like not put you to sleep. It's a good one. So I've got Tracy, Allie, Virginia, Shar. Oh, sorry, Queenie. Queenie, you're up. And then Tracy. Let's see. I think Queenie, you asked me about you. Did you say if your son I was right about your son, I'm guessing? Hi, Regine. You wanted to validate that your appointment on Wednesday went very well, and I had a second pair of shoes just like you recommended it. Regine, did you need a second pair of shoes? I hope you're still here. Oh, I wish I would have seen that. Hang on, Al. I'll look in just a second. Oh, okay. Add Nora and Elle, and then we're going to be closed for the night. Isha, if you want to add one more, and that's fine. I just don't want to be here too long. You didn't actually need it. Okay. Who knows? I don't know why they were talking about shoes, but I'm glad you had them. Okay. So Queenie, you wanted to know, let's see, I said something about your son. Was I right about the court date? Well, I'm glad the more important part was right, which was that it went well. Okay, your loneliness. You're welcome, Regine. Thank you for the validation. It's always nice to get that. Okay, Nora, I got yours, and Elle, I got yours too. Yes, okay. So I was right about good. I'm glad I was right about your son. Okay, so let's talk about you. Oh, so I feel like some of this is it's like you feel like you're so sad that you won't make the effort to hang out with the people that you do know because you don't want to burden them and you're worried about burdening them. You're very concerned about other people around you. There's a lot of caretaker aspect to you. It's a very big heart, a very kind heart, but it's almost to the detriment of yourself, right? So it's like you're so concerned about everybody else's comfort and happiness that you pack yours away and you isolate your sadness so that you don't upset anybody else or make anybody uncomfortable. And it feels like I feel like I have like one or two people that I could connect with. It feels like they're sort of distant and I keep them away, but I could connect with them and they feel warm and friendly, but I feel like it's that like we kind of maybe talk a little bit and then there's nothing. I also feel like it's like I'm in a dark apartment, like, I leave the windows closed, I don't open any windows, and even just doing something like that, like getting some plants, opening the windows, letting some light in would be really, really beneficial for you. We're on Queenie right now, Nora. You've got a few people ahead of you, okay? There's something you can do called grounding, which is really kind of silly. And I know it's getting colder, so it's a little harder, but go for a walk outside and even just spend some time in nature and, like hug a tree. You don't literally have to hug a tree, but maybe just like sit against a tree and lean your back against a tree and just spend some time out in nature, and kind of like giving your energy back into the earth for it to sort of be like kind of recycled and transmuted. Um, it might take being brave and putting yourself out there and not expecting that someone's going to think you're weird or whatever, but just like putting yourself out there to kind of connect with people. I'm gonna say this because I really, really like her. She's called a holistic psychologist. Her name is Nicole LaPera, and she's on YouTube, she's on Instagram, I think she's on Twitter, and she's gonna have a book coming out in February, which is I think like a workbook almost, where it's like you work on it's all about self-healing, right? So it's she talks about you can heal a lot of the stuff this childhood trauma, and trauma doesn't have to be huge abuse and things like that. It can just be belief systems we're instilled with that create these ideas and thought processes that we don't want to burden others. We always want to put everybody else before us and things like that. Um, it's okay, EF. I'll let you get squeezed in here. And if not, I would totally give you a refund. I won't just keep your money. That's pretty nasty, right? I don't want that energy. Um, does that make sense what I'm saying, Queenie? But look her up. She's really amazing. It's the holistic psychologist. She's got something here. And just see about connecting and see about kind of doing some self-healing work right there. Because I think, sometimes our loneliness, even if we can be in a room full of people and be lonely and feel completely alone. I used to have that when I was a kid. I would just feel so alone. Um, it doesn't really matter if you have people around you if you don't kind of heal the stuff that's going on inside. All right. Tracy, Allie, Virginia. So I would really, really recommend that going and looking at her stuff. She talks about like kind of like future self journaling and healing that inner child and those things. Cause I feel like almost like even as a little kid, I was like my emotions didn't matter. And I'm talking about you, I'm sitting in your energy. My emotions didn't matter, my feelings didn't matter. What my thoughts and ideas were didn't matter. I feel very quiet and very alone. And it's sort of like transferred into this adult thing of like putting everybody else's needs, because I feel like, especially with mom, you know, mom didn't want to deal with my emotions. She couldn't handle it. So I just kept it all in. Like not feeling loved, accepted, and received is sort of the way I feel like I was just there. And it was almost like feeling like I wasn't really wanted or loved. I mean, she loves you in her own capacity and stuff, but she had a lot of stuff going on too. So, okay, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot. And it doesn't help that we're in the middle of a pandemic and you can't just like kind of go out and do everything the way you normally would. And then like the collective energy is sort of like, so it's like everything is sort of like kind of hitting at once for you. And I'm really sorry because it sucks. It's not fun to go through. And honor that too, that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not abnormal. A lot of people have this stuff. So you are not alone. That is like the biggest gift that my gifts could give me, is to recognize that everybody has stuff. And if we all understood how much stuff everybody has and goes through and is healing from, we would be a lot more gentle with ourselves and a lot more respectful and forgiving and understanding, um, instead of having that really heavy negative self talk. Tracy, I was wondering if my guides can give me tips on how to lucid dream more. I love seeing and speaking with them that way. Do you mean like I'm trying to figure out what your definition of lucid dreaming is because there can be different ideas of what it is. Are you talking about like sort of falling into almost a sleep state? Are you talking about being in a meditative state? Or are you actually talking about like kind of going into a meditative state, but not a fully deep meditation where you're then like having the conversations with them? Because if you're doing it something like that, so here's what I recommend. Always pick a time of day that you're going to connect in with them and make it a habit. Okay, I'll become aware and can consciously control the dream, but they okay. Um, you can connect with them easier than doing that. First of all, you can do that. You're sort of doing that all the time anyway. In any dream state, you can do that. You just decide in the dream state, like I can do that, set the intention as you go to sleep. But I think that you can connect with your guides way easier, in a much more helpful way with is actually through your meditations. I feel like you would have very good like connecting and meditation. So what I recommend is, look, I always do my readings in this chair. Every reading I ever do, I do it in this chair. It's very rare that I will switch up and do anything else. And it isn't because there's anything magical about this chair or this spot. But if I create, it's sort of like Pavlov's dog, right? So every time the bell rang, they would get shown food, and then eventually they would salivate just when the bell rang and not needing the food. So this is really about, take these out. This is really about the fact that my brain is so trained that every time I sit in this thing that it sort of drops into the connection with them. I don't have to do any like, let me set the intentions or anything like that because I've been doing it this way for so long. Sunday nights, my brain is trained that this is why I like to set the schedule. It isn't so much just for you guys, but it's for the fact that like it's like I'm already in that mode of this is what I'm going to do. I wake up, I work out at the same time every morning because my body is ready to go into that mode for working out. Your cells and your humanness likes the structure. It's great with structure. So I recommend for you to go and sit, find a space that you always do your meditation in. Have a pad of paper, always write with the same color of pen or the same type of pen, whatever it is. It isn't so much, again, it's not about what it is you do. It's that you're doing it the same way every time because it creates the structure and you dropping in and ready to go each time. So then you're not going, oh my God, is it going to work this time? Your left brain isn't stopping you from like, what if I don't connect or how long are we going to have to do it? You also tell yourself whenever you hear noises that whenever I hear those noises, you set these intention. If I hear any outside noise, it doesn't distract me. It actually drops me deeper into my meditation. This is what my mentor did every single time we were in class. Cause like in the New York City buildings, they'll have like the water pipes in the old buildings that heat the buildings and they click and clack and make noises. And then you're going to hear, sirens down on the street, construction, whatever. And it's just sort of like it drops you in deeper. So whatever you decide to do, just do it. Frank, really, you're on the wrong channel. Have a good night. And thanks for the distraction. Whatever you decide to do, just do it the same every single time. That's actually my recommendation for you. And then if you want to really do the whole dream thing, just decide and set the intentions before you go to sleep. So this is sort of my guides, your guides, a mixture of the same. So you just sort of like go, okay, as I go to, it is my intention that I will lucid dream tonight. And you sort of create I am able to lucid dream. I'm able to control my dreams. I'm able to connect in whenever I want to. And you start to set that instead of making it like, how do I, like a thing. You manifest and you shift the brainwaves in the way that you're shifting the DNA, or they call it too. You're welcome. Oh, Frank, you're such a good guy. I haven't, there's only one, well, two. My father's name is Frank. Boo. And I don't like him, so, good for you. Okay. But I think that, okay, so you can recommend other people on here, but my other thought is if you're coming here, it's because you have a trust and believe with me. So I like to say, try what I'm telling you, because I'm intuitively picking up that you can do this in a different way and you can connect in with them in a different way. And I keep getting writing too. So as you're writing, you can do like an automatic writing as you're just like taking notes as you're doing your meditation. I think it will be a cooler experience for you to actually be able to do it and know you can connect in with them in a waking state. I've done lucid dreaming my whole life. As a kid, I learned that I could control my dreams pretty easily and what I wanted to do and where I wanted them to go. It was cooler for me to connect in with my guides directly through meditation. And I think you can do that and do it very easily. Allie, Virginia, and Shar, you're up. Let me double check, Allie. You did. All right, go for it. Oh, spiritual seeker is Virginia. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I'm like, who's Virginia? Got it. Okay. Will I own my own house one day, and will business analyst be a good career for me? Gotcha. Okay. It's coming. It's here. Got it. Okay. I actually feel like you're gonna own two properties one day. So I don't know if it's that you own like it doesn't feel like an up and down duplex. It feels like a side by side duplex. So like when I lived in Wisconsin, a side by side was called something else. I don't know, whatever. But it feels like, oh, up here they call it a duplex. It's like a 2-story apartment, but that's not what it is. I feels like the way my grandmother owned this property when I was a kid, and it was like she lived on one side and her tenant lived on the other. So it feels like I'll either actually own two separate properties at a point, but I don't feel like it's just one. So I feel like I own two separate properties, or it's like a side by side type thing that I buy for my first house where I'm staying on one side and renting out the other. And I would say I put that within, I don't feel like it's as far out as you think. I feel like maybe even in 5 years' time, that would happen for me. So they said business analyst would work well for you, but you're going to have something like outside of that that adds a pop of color in your life. It feels like I'm good at that. I can be that, but I need this extra little spark outside of it, like this little, like that adds a little fun, or like maybe that my work people would never guess this about me kind of thing that I do outside of work that provides this like release from stress, this getaway type thing. I actually feel like you'll end up in a more managerial type position, or training people or teaching people. You'll have people that are below you. Why do you feel like you're not capable? You want to be a business analyst? And those are just stories you tell yourself of hearing constantly you're not responsible, you're not making good choices. And I feel like this is from dad. You're not responsible, you're not making good choices. You're like these stories he told you in your head, and you sort of started believing them, that you're not good with money, you're so frivolous. So I feel like with the career thing, it's like I might go in as a business analyst, but I feel like I'm going to oversee people at a point. So which means I move up, which means I'm not like on the bottom rung, right? Does that make sense about hearing that story replay over your head where it's like you're not responsible, you're not all the negative stuff, just flip that and let that go. It's sort of like some people feel like they're being good parents when they're telling their kids what's wrong with them all the time. Okay, that's Allie. So like write them a letter. Don't send it to them, but write them a letter and be like, I know you were meant to do well, but I am. And what are you? You're responsible. You're good with money. You're all these things. This is another manifesting thing where a lot of manifesting is shifting what we believe so we can bring the good into our lives. Spiritual seeker. My daughter Kelly wants to know if she will be able to conceive naturally or with the help from a doctor or with IVF. That's a baby so very bad. I do feel like there's help from a doctor, but I don't know that it's IVF. It may be. I don't know if that's in vitro fertilization. There's another one that's called like. It's a different kind, but it's not in vitro. But I can't think of what it's called. And I feel like I have to tell you that it's something else. It's not IVF. There's a different name for it, and I can't remember. I don't want to call it turkey baster because I don't want to be disrespectful, but it's like it's like IVF is where they fertilize the egg outside and then plant the fertilized embryo, the embryo into the womb, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like easier than that, less invasive. But having to take some kind of a little bit of a hormone booster or something like that, I actually feel like he needs to be checked out as well because his sperm count may be low. But I feel like with the first one having a little bit more difficulty, and the second one, no problem. You have a good night too, Allie. So I do feel like she will. And it may take a couple tries at first, and then, but at like I feel like 2 or 3, and then I get pregnant, and I feel like again with a second baby, I feel like it's like shouldn't have happened, but it did. This happened with a girlfriend of mine where I was like, it was actually her husband that needed the help, and I was like, the second one, you're gonna have no problem getting pregnant. And that was like he didn't need and like he didn't need to go on anything for the second one. Like it just happened. You're welcome. So Shar, Tammy, Nora, and then L, and I think EF. Let me double check. And then EF. And then we are done for the night. So Shar, Tammy. There's Shar. Okay. I'm thinking about my relationship a lot lately. Is there any way? Wait, what? Are you pregnant? Why would you have like, that just confused the crap out of me. Sorry. Oh, Isha gets a second one. Sorry. I'll throw her in there. Um, okay, I gotcha. Wait, are you scared to have a baby like vaginally? Is that what the fear is? Because, lady, you want that way over having a C-section. Your body is made to have babies. Like you're like everything is made to have babies. Everything, trust me, it's okay. Like a C-section goes through 6 layers of muscle, and then you have to heal from that, and then you may have scar tissue that causes issues. Like you can have one vaginally, go for it. And there's also a thing called an epidural, um, and they're wonderful. Okay, so let's look at that. Sorry. Um, okay, so with a relationship, I actually feel like it will continue for a while, and sort of like a dysfunctional codependent kind of way. And it feels like maybe another 2 to 3 years, and then it sort of peters out. And I do feel like there will be a child in that period, and I feel like it will be the baby will be small, young-ish when the relationship ends. Um, and I do feel like you would have another one, but with a different person after that. It's I'm happy to be wrong where you end that relationship and then you have a baby at a later point, but that's just sort of the feeling I get. Does that make sense when I say the relationship feels very codependent and dysfunctional? And it feels like you try a lot and you give a lot more on your end than he does. Well, that's what I feel like. I feel like it's codependent. You said it's very dysfunctional. That's what I feel like. I just feel like you keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's very codependent. Uh, but I do feel like it's like sort of like you keep hoping and you keep hoping and you keep hoping. So it feels like that lasts about another 2 to 3 years of just, look, we all have some form of dysfunction in our life. Like we're all healing from all kinds of stuff. We come from dysfunctional. There isn't anyone who comes from a super healthy, perfect, normal family. Everybody has their own form of dysfunction. It just feels like it lasts about 2 to 3 more years, kind of going through the same pattern, and then you finally sort of are like, okay, I can't do this anymore. But I do feel like there's a baby within that period. Do not be afraid of having a baby, okay? None of us do. Um, your body will do well. You'll be fine through it, okay? Tammy, Nora, L, EF, and Isha. Did Tammy ask a question? Let me see. My question is my belly button area has a rash and something doesn't feel right. There's something wrong. It's been 2 months since my gallbladder surgery. Okay. Um, now, Tammy, you know I'm not a doctor. And hi, Emily. Welcome. I was thinking about you earlier. Um, all right, Tammy. So I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose anything. I will always say go see your doctor, right? Gallbladder surgery would be here, right? Let me read this again. Okay. I actually feel like this is more of there's something about like a topical dermatitis, like an irritation to either a new laundry detergent or something on the clothes, but I also feel like it's like stress induced. Like it's a combination of being extra stressed and then that. So it's more than just one thing. Are you here, Tammy? I might message you then. But I feel like it's a more than just like it's not like a simple thing. It's like a twofold thing. That it's sort of like a stress induced rash and then this other thing. I don't think it's like um there may be like a little it doesn't feel like a cancer, like a little nodule thing in there, but it doesn't feel like anything. It feels like benign. That's just like sort of your body forms a wall around it to push it out. But I feel like it's just more the rash is more related to like stress plus this irritation from clothing slash lotion or something. I'll message her. I know who she is. It's fine. Oh, hi. Can you hear me? Did you hear me about that? There feels like, is there like a little nodule under there that's like hard? Because they keep showing me this. I'm talking to you now. Is there like, so you said you had a rash around your belly button, and I said that I felt like um it's from like a topical type dermatitis or like an irritation from like clothes slash like a new laundry detergent or something kind of rubbing you, but I also feel like it's stress induced. But then I keep getting shown like almost like a little nodule. Is there like a little hard nodule? I feel like that's like I don't know if it's like if they would have put a stitch in that area because it doesn't match with a gallbladder, right? But it feels like just it feels benign whatever it is, but it's like the body's way of walling, when it walls around a foreign body and then tries to push it out. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like a hernia to me. It feels like a hard little nodule. Because like remember with a hernia, you can what do they call it? Depress it or whatever. You can I forget. There's an actual term for it, right? Or reduce it. You can reduce a hernia usually, right? This doesn't feel like a hernia. It feels like a nodule, like a little hard ball. It doesn't feel like it's cancer or anything else. It feels like they might want to remove it to biopsy it, but it'll be benign. Um, like it literally feels like the way they're making me feel like as if there's a stitch in there, like a suture in there that got left in there and didn't dissolve right, and your body walled off around it as a way to protect it. That's what it feels like to me. Um, like with a hernia, I feel like with a hernia, you can reduce a hernia. And this doesn't feel like that to me. This feels like something else. So maybe there was an ingrown hair. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like it'll like, and the rash and the irritation sort of feels like stress induced and irritation of clothes rubbing. And I don't know if you've used a new detergent or perfume or something. Does that make sense? No new detergent. That's just the way I'm feeling. So it could be also you develop an allergy to something. I don't know what it is, but it feels like the rubbing of the clothes because they're showing me specifically clothes, or maybe you need to wash clothes before you wear them when you buy them. I don't know what it is, but it feels like that coupled with stress, and then there's this like little nodule, but that feels like it's benign. It's nothing. But go to your doctor. Yeah, high-waisted jeans. Are you wearing high-waisted jeans lately? Do you have a nickel sensitivity? Oh, you're trying to go to the doctor. Gotcha. Do you have a nickel sensitivity? Oh, boo. Isn't that how it always happens? Can you get a telemedicine appointment? Are they doing those down there right now? I know up here that's like all the rage. I was telling you, I took my daughter, my 7-year-old, to her she was supposed to go back in April to her yearly checkup, and we had to put it off. And we finally got in. Her doctor's kind of harder to get into. Because she's fantastic. And I was telling her, like, my daughter, like, she's kind of a little more anxious. My 7-year-old's a little more anxious, and like she had a little bit of a allergy cough. And well, even so for me, I'm short-waisted, so I don't have to wear high-waisted jeans where my mid-rise comes up like around my abdomen area. Like it's because I have longer limbs and short-waisted. And anyway, these clothes fit differently for me. And so it could be something like that, but I don't feel like I feel like I keep seeing your scrubs, to be honest with you. I keep seeing your scrubs like being an issue. So it could be something in your scrubs that you bought, like the material that you bought could be irritating it. I don't know. But that's what I feel like. It's like it's the two together. It's the stress and then this together is creating the irritation. But I was saying with my daughter, like she was like, make sure you tell the doctor my cough is from my allergies because she gets this weird like like where she gets this like little post-nasally drip cough. You bought some new shirts lately. This is what I'm telling you. I just said, I was like, maybe you bought some new clothes. Your body doesn't like whatever it is. So just wash those shirts before you wear them. Because, they put sizing in them, which sometimes has formaldehyde and other things in the sizing. That's why I keep saying your scrub tops. Okay. All right. That's probably what it is. Just make sure you wash them, or it could be even just the combination of whatever the material is. Or if they have, like they make the new scrub tops, they have some that are like microbial. It could be something in that they've used the chemicals in it for that. I don't know. You know how it is. And it feels like then also coupled with stress, like I feel like I'm a little more stressed than I have been. And again, we're in the middle of a pandemic and it's just stressful all the way around. Just add stress for people. All right, Nora, L, EF, and Isha. You're welcome. Let me know how you're doing. Okay, so Nora, L, EF, and Isha. L, okay. My name is Leah. Hello. I didn't know if you want me to share your name, so that's why I didn't. Okay, so it's not a silly question. A lot of people have that. So I will tell you to like, so where my background is and what I think about intuition. And I believe that everybody has intuition. I believe that everybody can strengthen their intuition and get better at it. Now, there are some people that are naturally inclined and connected with their intuitions, your inner GPS. I am one of those. But it doesn't mean that wasn't able to do this when I was little, but I was able to do a lot, but not in the same way. I had a lot of natural stuff, but I practice and I hone. And so it's like you take a professional basketball player. They have a lot of natural talent and a lot of like affinity to be able to and agility, like more genetic connection or whatever, but they still have to practice and work a lot to get it. It's not like they go from being like this elementary school, middle school, junior high, whatever, to unless you're Kobe, whatever. But most of them, they have to work at it, right? They still have to work even if they're naturally inclined to it. So I do feel like I do feel like you're scared of it in a way, and you sort of push it away and you question yourself a lot. It feels more not so much like it's like not having the confidence in myself enough to go like, this is what I'm getting and this is where I'm going with it. The biggest factor you have to get over is learning that it's okay to be wrong. And if you can't trust yourself, trust your guides. Because if you look back on your life, when you trust your guides, that inner noise that's not your own, 99% of the time, my guides are like right on. I just may be interpreting it wrong. So that's usually where the wrongness comes from, or you make a huge, huge shift in timelines. Usually the wrongness comes from is I've interpreted it wrong. Like they've given it to me in a way that I just can't somehow get to the understanding of what it's supposed to be. An example of that is a friend of mine, and I tell people this one a lot because it's pretty, it makes it clear how I interpreted it wrong. She was in corporate marketing. She was in between jobs and she was like, all right, like, I'm like, what's going on? Why, what's coming next? And I was like, are you thinking about going into being like a preschool teacher or something? Or like, it just feels like something completely different. And she was like, well, no. Um, and if you know this woman, you would know why she was like, hey, no. She's very lovely and nice, but she's just not like the teacher in the classroom person. And I saw her walking up and down the aisles of like a preschool classroom. I saw little kids, like not high school. I saw little kids and like walking up and down the aisles, not halls of this classroom. And she's like, no. Well, she ended up doing the marketing for like a Montessori preschool system. I mean, there was more than one. So what is that? A chain? Um, so my guides were telling me the right way. I just was not understanding what they were trying to show me. I was telling it wrong. So you sort of have to get to the point where if you don't trust yourself, that's okay. Just trust them. Because then you'll get to a point where you go, no, no, I've done this enough. I've experienced this enough to trust that this is what I'm getting and this is what this means. Your intuition is also about building a language, and everybody's language is different. So if someone, I always kind of go, whatever, when everybody's like, if you see a penny, it means that your family member is around you. Well, if you decide that that's what that means, and that's what that, like, it's like when you define, like, I'm going to call this a pen because it writes a certain way and has a certain ink, and I'm going to call this a marker. Well, if everybody decides that they want to call it that way, that's fine. But what if I decide, well, for my language, I'm going to call this a pencil, and I'm going to call this a nifty doodle dandy. It doesn't really matter. It's you create this own language and this own nomenclature for things. So for me, when I see a butterfly, I don't think of a family member. I get that it's about evolving and about changing and growth. So it's sort of like learning to figure out what that language is and sit in that. But I really feel the biggest like barrier for you to like connecting in is really just about the uncertainty of it and what it means. I'm leaning towards saying that you've grown up in the more Christian belief system where it's like there's still this, even though you don't believe in it, there's still this little bit of you, this part of your subconscious that says, I don't know what I'm tapping into. Could it be evil and scary? Yeah. So learn French. Why not? So it's like sort of like just getting beyond that in order to kind of grow and connect. And then also like getting beyond the idea of what it means to be connected into your intuition. Everybody has it. It's very normal. Very Catholic family. Well, so there's like a little bit of like my like superstition-y, like there, and at least in Catholicism, there's the idea that you can talk to other people, right? You can pray to Mary, you can pray to St. Francis or to St. Teresa. You know, you can pray to these different saints and you have these different ideas. So at least in Catholicism, you have that to kind of look at, right? Um, or St. Teresa Little Flower. So there's that, right? It's not such a stretch. But let go of the idea, like I always say, like, you know, if you believe in this omni everything being, right? If it was possible for Jesus and his disciples to have mediumship experiences, to have prophetic experiences, to have, and mediumship is, you know, when you're talking to God, to the burning bush. That was a medium experience. Um, to have ability to heal, God doesn't go, well, it's only in that time, you don't get it now. Like it doesn't work that way. Like it just doesn't, because that's the whole thing that Christ was teaching is like, if I can do this, you can do this too. I'm a child of God, but I'm not the only child of God. We are all children of God. We all have the spark of God in us. We all contain this connection to a universal source, a collective energy, if you will. So yeah, you are. I actually think you're more inclined than you think, and that then you realize. They're showing me you as a little girl, maybe second, third, fourth grade, having a vision, and then like almost not being believed when you shared it. Or like feeling like they were told you was make believe. So then you thought, well, you like questioned that, like, well, maybe it was make believe. Because it feels older than 5. When they say 5, yeah. So it's not make believe. Okay. Like I tell my daughter who's 7, you're going to have experiences that other people aren't going to have. You're going to see things and hear things that other people aren't necessarily going to be able to. It doesn't mean you're making it up. It doesn't mean it's not real. It just means they can't do what you can do. And that's true for me. Like I have plenty of people go, oh, it's not real. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll figure it out when we're dead. Like that's always my answer to them. Well, let's figure it out when we're dead then, won't we? Because I'm not going to sit and argue with you or try and convince anybody. These are my experiences, and I really just don't have the energy to put into like telling you why they're my experiences and they're not yours. You're welcome. So come here, join us here. This is a really good community of a lot of people kind of wanting to tap in and connect into something bigger. I'm going to start making more videos. It's just been like the whole pandemic and my kids being home all the time, and we are not doing a hybrid version. I'm opting, our district allows us to opt to keep everybody home. And since all the numbers are going up, we are keeping our asses at home. So it's been a little harder to do the things that I want to do, but we're going to get there. But I will leave you with that. Nora, EF, and Isha, you guys are up. Oh, Nora, here you are. I just want a general reading about your love life. Okay. Do you have like a weird pressure in your nose here, or do you get like this weird, I don't know, I just have this major pain here, and I'm going to tell you, like, so what I first started feeling was like, I feel like I was in the clouds, like with cotton candy and like this very magical place. And then my foot was like stuck heavy in almost like concrete mud, not quite concrete, but like not quite, I can pull my leg out. It was like, so it was feeling like stuck in 2 words. Like I had this dreamy state of like wanting to be in love and having this idea of what love is, and then being stuck with this idea of, I can't have that. I don't deserve that. I'm afraid of that. I don't want to have what this, like having these other, like the negative, it's like being stuck between 2 worlds. Does that make sense? And then the nose thing, if you can explain that to me, if you feel like you get this weird like pressure here, pain pressure here. What's the pain pressure here? Does that make any sense? Does it feel like to me? I was thinking like maybe when I wear my glasses too long, but that's not it. It's because it's like right on the bridge here. Sinus issue? Do you ever break your nose? This might make sense then in the next few days. If it doesn't make sense now, I always say hold on to it because within the next week or so, it might make sense. Maybe you end up with a sinus infection or something. I don't think it'll be COVID, but it might be a sinus infection. Where you walk into a wall, don't walk into a wall. um, it's really like your guides are really funny. First things first, because I'm like, all right, what about this love life? First things first, we need to work on, and it's like this whole list of like healing this inner stuff and this inner dialogue that keeps our foot stuck hard. And I highly recommend, I should just start doing manifesting videos. I really like Joseph Ally, ALI. I like the way he teaches manifesting. I like some of Jake Ducey's stuff. It's really about your mindset, right? So it's really about reprogramming these old programs we have in these old things that play over and over in our head, that being in a relationship means eventually we don't like each other. Being in a relationship means I have to give up who I am. I have to make myself vulnerable, which is really scary. Or this is going to be the outcome. Or every time I fall for somebody, they turn out being the opposite of what I thought they were. Like whatever it is, changing that to the I am form of, I am worthy of love. I am capable of giving love. I am capable of being in a loving, healthy, safe relationship. I am capable of, or I am in a relationship that's loving, healthy, and safe. I'm in a relationship with somebody that is kind, empathetic, um, all the things you want in a person, financially stable, respectful, smart, funny, clean, whatever. All like go ahead and list them. It's I am, and as if it already is happening, because it starts to shift this. But then, as far as your inner dialogue towards yourself, it's I am lovable. I am capable of being loved. I deserve to be loved. I am worth being loved. I am valuable. And a lot of people don't see themselves as valuable. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be shifted there. And then what love is to you, start shifting what your idea of love and relationships are. So instead of being like, oh, relationships are always hard, this, that, well, yeah, they're work. They're not just like drop it all in and like put it in the slow cooker and let it go. Like they're work. You have to season, you have to like keep stirring and checking and seeing where it's at. And so it's like, relationships are work, and I can put the work in, and they're willing to put the work in. And we grow together, because a lot of patient relationships, what they grow apart, right? You get headaches sometimes. That might be where the headache is right there. It just didn't feel like my normal headache thing. Whatever, you have to kind of change what love is to you too, what this idea of love is. Can I leave you with that? So what I have to say is, when they start giving me a list of the things that you need to work on, it's because that we're sort of saying, what they're sort of telling me when they do that is not that love isn't coming for you or that it's not possible. It does feel like it's coming, but that it's really important for you to sort of shift this energy to pull you out of that rut of being in those relationships that kind of just don't go anywhere or fall apart or just feel like awful. And then you end up thinking like, what's wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with you other than, which we all have this, right? At a point is needing to reprogram our belief systems so that we're not keeping in this loop of negative replay and like continually attracting the same kind of people and things. because everybody is capable of being loved. You are capable of being loved right now, but why not shift this thought process and this belief system so that who you attract in is healthier and better for you and creates a and is a part of a better environment for you. Oh, well, give me a list of spiritual questions and I'll make a video on that. That also helps too. If I know what you guys want to know, talk about, I'll chat about them. I have a lot to share. I just am sort of like, what do people want to know about? What's going on with your love life, EF, and how can you get moving? Did L A- Oh, good. I'm glad you'll be a frequent flyer, L. You're welcome. So this is EF, and then Isha has one last question, and we're good. Okay. You're welcome, Nora. All right. So EF wants a general love reading. Weird. I just felt like I couldn't breathe through my nose. Are you stuffy? This is really weird. I just want okay. It might get worse. Neti pot, humidifier are your friends. Um, I also feel I keep hearing anxious, and then I heard lots of anxiety, lots of anxiety. Do you suffer from anxiety and being anxious? I feel like I have social anxiety, and then it's just like it holds me back in so many ways. It holds me back in so many ways. And then they said, okay, you have to mask at work a lot. Okay, so oh, you have to wear a mask at work a lot. Well, wear your mask at work because numbers are going up. Wear your mask at work. Don't do the like, let me dip my nose out thing. And I say this because somebody I know, and I don't want to give too many details because I don't want to like out anybody. Like if anybody watches this, I might know who people I know. Um, is very careful, wears masks, everything else, went back to work this week after being able to work from home. And not this week, but I think the last week or whatever. And then found out Friday wasn't feeling well, found out today that it's COVID. So just like it's really contagious. It's not a joke. It's like really, really contagious. Um, but this feels like actual, like I can't breathe through my nose the way I would feel like if I was stuffy. So just if it might get worse. So just it might even maybe be just like needing to take antihistamines, but just watch it over the next couple of days and drink lots of fluids. Um, do you have anxiety? Since I'm rambling. You do have social anxiety. Okay, when it comes up one-on-one relating. Okay. In groups, you're more comfortable. Okay. Because you can be the sitting on the wallflower. You don't have to talk. You don't have to be the center of attention. Um, so the feeling, so what I got was that the anxiety actually comes from like trauma. So again, trauma doesn't have to be like I got beat up and had this big like one time event. It can be just like a constantly like overhaul, like it like over time of constantly being told. It feels like constantly being corrected and told I'm not doing something right. So it's like always just feeling like maybe I'm not sitting right, maybe I'm not, is my hair not right? Is my face, am I not holding my face just right? It's like constant over and over of just not quite doing something right. Does this make sense as a child? And so it's like now I have this like little voice in my head that would have kept me very safe as a child so that I don't just so I hold my face just right and I do everything just right. It may be like having a narcissistic parent might cause this, right? Where if I just don't do just everything just right, then like so it's like in my head, this anxiety of being one-on-one, right, keeps me just really like overly aware of everything about me and my body and that's going on. So it's like a symptom of trauma. So it's sort of you have to kind of like it's that feeling of needing to go back and reparent and tell myself like that was there to be safe and I'm really grateful for you and you really helped me out for a long time, but I don't need you anymore because I am good, I am kind, I am perfect just the way I am. I'm all of these good things. It's like I don't I mean, it's just that feeling of, like, being told I'm not holding everything just right, so it can be a teacher that does this to you, like, like, "You gotta do this," whatever. It can be kids that do that to you too, but, it feels like it started at home a little bit, so and it's not to vilify a parent, it can they we as parents can do things unintentionally and harm our children unintentionally, and, meaning, like, say the wrong thing and then they just hold you never know how somebody's gonna hold on to something forever, and so it just those things can happen. So it just feels like something like that, like needing to reprogram that thought process of how that happens. Again, I'm gonna suggest to you the holistic psychologist, Nicole LaPera. She's fantastic. Right. Even that playful teasing can create issues because think about it. So until a child is 10 years old, they don't really understand the complex thought process. They don't get, like, everything is very literal. So it isn't until 10 years old, around the age of 10, where they sort of start to develop a more complex thought process and understand things like um, teasing as being a joke. But really, teasing isn't it can be very harmful when you if you're picking at somebody all the time. And again, I don't think he was trying to be mean, but like even like it drives me crazy when my husband calls my kids stinky because I'm like, don't do that. Like, because they may at a point wonder, am I really? You don't know what, like, am I really stinky? Am I really like funny looking or whatever? Like when you say things, even when you mean it in a playful way, it can actually cause harm, right? So I don't think that he meant it in a mean, awful way. I think he grew up in a family where that was the norm. So it's just those kind of little things. So it can create a subconscious thing going on. So just look her up. She kind of teaches some like tips and techniques and like ideas and thought processes that we have that can be more healthy. And she's also like has like the whole like counseling therapy background. And I am not qualified to do all of that. Um, but it's just where they're sort of leading me is that it's like when I have that, it creates that block that keeps me from being able to move forward comfortably in my own skin and with who I am, like really embracing who I am. Um, I would work on doing like looking for a solar plexus chakra clearing because this is how you relate to the world and that this is what carries in that energy. There's how you relate to the world, how the world relates to you and your self-esteem. So sort of working on that, clearing that and balancing then all of the rest of the chakras. And you can do this. They have all kinds of videos out there and on YouTube. And find what resonates with you. So I never recommend a specific person unless I have my own meditations. I have a white light one on here. I just have a couple meditations because people's voices can kind of irritate you. You may like to get readings from me, but you don't want to listen to my voice. It like doesn't relax you or soothe you, whatever. But so I don't recommend a specific person because we all have our own little like idiosyncrasies with what calms us and what doesn't. So moving forward, it's kind of like that similar with that other person where you sort of have to kind of do this inner healing work in order to move forward and actually like move into that longer relationship. I do feel like something coming along in 3 to 6 months, like finally like being able to like it feels like maybe dating a little bit more, but it doesn't feel like anything long term. I feel like it's a little bit further out for a really long term relationship. And I feel like as you're waiting on that, it's like working on all of this inner dialogue. So it's like I start to date and then I'm like, oh, I may have like wanted to date somebody like this before, but I'm like, ooh, why would I tolerate this now? It's like as you see your healing, you sort of shift your ideas and what's tolerable in a dating process and what's not. Can I leave you with that? I wish it was more like, you got this guy coming in, but it's really what's more beautiful is that you have a lot of healing coming in for you, which really shifts and catapults you into like a different, almost like a different timeline to where you're sort of like, this is like the crossroads for you right now in your life. Does that make sense, EF? And I think when you say I really want something good and healthy, that's why it's not like, oh, this guy's coming in, because in order to have something good and healthy, you sort of have to heal all of that. It's not to say that you will be rid of your social anxiety, but I do feel like you will clear it up to the point that it's like you catch it really quick and where it comes from and why you're having it, like, so you're able to totally release it and then like move forward more comfortably. It doesn't mean that you won't have little triggers, but again, it won't be nearly as strong as it is right now. It's not that you're going to be alone for 5 years. It just feels like at that time, so it may be that you meet the person before then and that's when a marriage comes in, but it just feels like something serious is a little bit further out for you. And I'm happy to be wrong, okay? Maybe that's what the 5 years is been single for 5 years, but I just feel like I feel like you're gonna date and be with people, so it may even be like little short-term relationships, like maybe 3 to 5 month relationships in between here and there, but like the real deal, maybe you're in a relationship for a year, but it feels like the real deal relationship, the healthy one comes in a little bit further down the line. But you're gonna be healing yourself now that you sort of see, like, you're like, "Oh, someone is seeing this and connecting in with what this is." It's validation for you that you're not weird, there's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken. You just have to reprogram. You're welcome. I know it's not always what you wanna hear. I would love to be like, "You're meeting him tomorrow. He's gonna be at your front door." Isha, last question. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, EF. Oh, good. I'm glad, Isha. Thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you. She said, general reading. Okay. They said you're stuck on a hamster wheel, and I'm like, what? And it's like stuck in the thoughts, stuck in the thoughts. It's this in your head. You're replaying a lot of stuff over in your head over and over and over again. I know you want to know about love life, but this is gonna get you there. Um, you're replaying how you were, how things were, and it's almost like if I go on a date, I replay, did I do it right? Did I do this? And they're like sort of like you've got to let that go, and you need to sort of, again, it's like the I am, like before you go on a date, I'm going to have a successful date. Imagine telling somebody you had a successful date. Imagine telling somebody you felt comfortable and you weren't worried about with this person about talking about or what I said, or did I say this right, or did I do this right? I keep feeling like a lot of like first, second, third dates, and then it kind of falls flat. And it's like over and over and over and over in my head again. Am I second guessing myself, questioning myself? What am I doing wrong? And it's sort of like, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just in that mindset of constantly questioning yourself, you're sort of continuing to attract more of that. So it's like, sorry, I just keep seeing like, they're like showing me in the hull of a ship where I'm like, just like there's water coming in. It's like an old ship, water coming in and like constantly trying to pour the water out, pour the water out, pour the water out. You're not stuck in a sinking ship. You aren't a sinking ship. So it's time to work on yourself. Like, I think that's a huge theme for a lot of people here. It keeps coming up over and over again. So it means you're like one, a lot of times the same types of people and energetically are attracted for a reason. Maybe they need to hear that story that over and over and over again, hear the message more than once so that it sticks in here. We can be our best ally and our worst enemy at the same time. So work again the solar plexus chakra, do some clearing, find a YouTube video that does a meditation for solar plexus chakra. Don't do the ones that are like an hour and a half long because you know and I know you're going to fall asleep. Just find a 10-minute one so you can consciously connect in with it. And if you fall asleep, that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. You're relaxing. That's what meditation needs you to do, is to calm down. No, Laura, I'm going to refund your money. I am all done. No, I'm all done for the night. It's already 10:30. I've been on here for 2 hours. This is not what I wanted to do. Okay, so come back next time. I'm refunding your payment. I'm doing it right now. I'm refunding your payment. I don't want to keep your money, but I closed the list after Isha. Okay. Okay, I'm refunding it to you. Come back next week because I really need to. I have to have boundaries, and we closed the list already. Okay. You're welcome. So you should have it back. I'm not going to take anybody's money, but I have to, like, we closed the list a while ago. So, because otherwise I'm on here too long. Come back next Sunday. I'm here every week. Okay. Subscribe, hit the bell. If you go to my website and subscribe to my website, you'll get an email and you'll also get put in a drawing to every month I give away a free 30-minute reading. So you'll get put in a drawing for that. And you'll also get notifications of when you can purchase a reading ahead of time and get on the list early. Okay. So it just feels like, Isha, for you, it really would really behoove you to work on that inner dialogue and healing all of that thought process. And also, again, it's the other thing of like what you see love, how you see it, and how you see relationships, and reprogram what love is to you and what relationships are to you. Because even if you think and you have this idea of like this Hollywood, like, when I fall in love, it'll be like this. But that undercurrent of you is always like, but whenever I'm in relationships, it's like this, and I never meet the right person. And then you're sending out to the universe that I never meet the right person. I never connect well with somebody. There's always this struggle. There's always this, there's always that. So it's like, then you're going to create more of that. It's going to be more struggle. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at that. Emily, are you still here? Emily, are you here? What's your question, Emily? She paid earlier. I just didn't see that it was on there. You don't have one for today. You're just donating money. Thank you. 30% of that still will go to, I'm going to keep doing for the community food bank of New Jersey. I think a little bit goes a really long way there. So I feel like it's the most bang for our buck. For every $1 donated, it provides enough for 3 meals for $1, which is like nothing, right? And we have donated through here. I think I worked it out, and it's going to sound like really creepy, but I'll explain it in a minute. So it's actually for 666 meals. But I don't want to say that because I was like, oh, I don't want to freak anybody out. But whenever you see, this is what I learned in my ministerial courses to be a spiritualist reverend. Whenever the number 6 shows up in the Bible, it actually indicates that something psychic is going to happen. So it's not the devil, right? But then I always think it's funny too, because a lot of Christians in the church say like, oh, the psychic stuff is the devil. And when 6 denotes that, you know what I mean. Anyway, so I'm really excited. So I can't wait till we hit 1,000, enough for 1,000 meals, because I feel like this is helping a lot of people and it's helping you guys. And I really like connecting with you guys. And again, if you want me to make some spiritual chat videos, you can email me, send me, or comment below, and send me ideas, requests, questions you have, and I'll make videos on them. I'm totally happy to do that. So, or I'll do a live stream where I answer all of those questions for you. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining me again. I will be back next Sunday, which will be November 1st. Remember to turn your clocks forward next weekend. It is fall forward. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon, and happiest Halloween to all of you who celebrate.